Play ball.
There you go.
There it is.
There's the winner.
Back.
Look at that.
Back. Gone. We have a chance.
Showdown.
Yankees 12, Red Sox 11.
He's gone. He could go all the way.
Muy arquero. ¿Quién le pega? ¡Golazo!
Well, there's a long ball through, and
Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Incredible Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Fed on through, and here's Rust. Rust delays to Kobe. Walton can tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you got to get a shot here.
Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Bang!
Oh, go ahead. Do your little intro.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Earth2 Sports Talk with Weds&Moe. I am Mo.
And I'm
Of
Wed.
course.
What's up?
So I think the title of this show should be Mo is Always Wrong, because this is Mo's Wrong Part 2. I was wrong about the finals, NBA finals, and I think I'm wrong about this. I don't think I'm wrong. I was wrong about game 2, but I don't think I'm wrong about everything moving forward, though. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You picked Lightning in 5. I don't know how you could be wrong about things going forward because they're down 2 games to 1. So
that means right, they could still win out. That's moving forward. I'm not wrong about who's winning. That's what I'm trying to say. Period.
Okay, you're not wrong about who's winning the series moving forward.
Yes.
You were just wrong about in how many games they would win the series.
I will say that. Yes.
Okay, and I think I'm more right than ever because that 7-0 beating in game 2, that tells me that
things happen.
That tells me that everything that the Lightning had, that we said the Lightning had going for them, better goalie, that's 7-0 otherwise.
Yeah,
more firepower. So again,
but that was Saturday though. But that was Saturday though. All right, let's get started. Let's go into it. So let's talk about what we're actually going to talk about before we start talking about Lightning, right? So first thing first, right? This guy, post finals, this guy was asked the question, hey, do you think the Warriors needed you? And this was his answer. The Warriors didn't need me to beat Boston and win another championship. That's for sure. I agree with that part. But did they need me to beat CP3, Harden, the Rockets, and LeBron James?
Mm-hmm.
You go first. What do you think about that second part? How about the first part of the statement? What do you think about that?
The Warriors didn't need me to beat Boston and win another championship. Well, there's no debating that. I mean, they beat Boston convincingly.
Yes.
Because they beat Boston convincingly. After that same Boston team smacked KD out of the playoff in the first round. So
that's where you're going?
So
that's where you're going?
No, I'm saying you could clearly, the first part of the statement is not up for debate. Like,
okay.
KD, the Boston team smacked KD out of the playoff in the first round, swept them, even though Brooklyn was the favorites.
Mm-hmm.
That same Boston team, got smacked by the Warriors. 6 games, pretty convincing, win. It wasn't you can't say it was a fluke. So the first part of the statement, there's no debating that. There's nothing, to question about that one. The second part, but they needed me to beat CP3, Harden, Rockets, and LeBron James. Let's cut that one in half. They needed me to beat CP3, Harden, and the Rockets. I say cap. That's a lie. They didn't need him for that because the first thing I remember is the first thing I heard, and I think in 2017, for the rest of the for the entire finals, all I heard was if CP3 was available, right? Because CP3 didn't play Game 7 with the Rockets. If CP3 was available, and the Rockets would have won, they would have gone on to win the championship. It's because CP3 did not play. That's why they That's why they didn't win. What if? What if? What if? What if? That's all I heard. If CP3 played, if this, if that. The following season, they find themselves in the same predicament, right? Except that one, not only did CP3 did play, I think CP3 that game had 27-10 and with like 5 boards, like 27 points, 10 assists, 5 boards, 2 or 3 steals, if I'm not mistaken. I think he shot something like 50% from the field. I will have to look that up, the exact numbers, but I know for a fact that the following season, CP3 played that game. And not only did CP3 play, KD did not play. Steph had a horrible first half. Like, I think Steph had 0 points in the first half. I think he was like 0 for 13 or some random numbers like that. And then he had 33 in the second half, and the Rockets still lost. So that number right there says that they didn't need him to beat the Rockets. They didn't need KD for that because KD did not play. Steph had a horrible first half. CP3 had a great game. The Rockets still lost because their leader James Harden, he can't come through. He can't win when it matters.
That's fair.
So with that being said, did they need him for that? No. So, but if we're gonna add the fact that they needed him to beat LeBron James, he has an argument for that one. He has a bit of an argument for it.
A bit.
He has an argument for it. He has an argument for they needed him to beat LeBron James. He has an argument for it. But the reason why I can't fully just agree with him on this one is because of the what ifs. Okay, in sports, the amount of what ifs that we get, we can never go by what ifs. And that CP3, that Rockets team with Harden and Chris Paul, that the Warriors beat them I think like 3 years in a row, okay, on the way to the finals. So, and the same CP3 argument that I mentioned earlier, the fact that people say that if CP3 had played, they would have won. The following year, same predicament, CP3 played and had a great game, they still lost. So what ifs doesn't really matter, and it doesn't matter in that regard. And as far as they needed him to win. Well, they needed him to win convincingly. That's for sure. Because I think in both series, with the Cavs, they won in like 5 games.
No, the first one I think was 6.
6 games?
Was it 6 games? Hold on, let me see.
Could
have been 5 both times.
Yeah, I think it was in 5 both times, if I'm not mistaken. So when I think about it, I'm like, they needed him to win convincingly. That's for sure. But like, could they have won without him? Possibly, because the first one, I think in the first one, Kyrie was still with Cavs at the time, but in the second one, Kyrie was no longer there, and they were playing with so they needed him to win to beat LeBron James. You could say and then again the argument could go back to as you could see when the Cavs had a healthy team in 2016, the Warriors couldn't beat them. That's why they went out and got KD. But for that one, somebody could give you an argument like, well, what if Draymond wasn't suspended for Game 5?
It's one game, bro. It's one game. Don't do that.
Hold on.
You're up 3.
But
you loses one game.
What if is a thing? What if? And that's why I can't go by what. That's why I don't like going by what ifs in sports, because you say you say it's one game. You're right. It is one game. But you know what happened though? Sometimes for example, right? I think we talked about it last episode. We were saying shooters shoot, right? For a guy like Steph, all he needs to do is see the ball go in the basket one time. All of a sudden, the basket becomes big for him. So for a team, for a LeBron James led team, sometimes all they need is one win. Sometimes all they need is is to see, or for that momentum for that to click in. All of a sudden, and then I think Steph Game 6, I think Steph was like partially injured, where he still played, but his ankle wasn't great. I think Game 6 and 7. So then we could go by, whoa, what if he was completely healthy? What if so like all these what ifs, like I can't go by them. So as far as like
it was 5 games in 2016, I believe, and then it was a sweep in 2017-18.
Okay. So so you have it like 1 year forward. So it was like I think it was like 5 games in
no, when Kyrie left, they got swept.
Yeah. So it was 5 games in 2017, and then swept game in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So with that being said, does he have a argument there? Of course, you can make an argument because you say that you could say you can't go back and be like, well, let's remove him and see what happens.
No,
Because now we're gonna have more what ifs.
Yeah.
Because all you can have is more what ifs. So for me, they say, oh, they need him for sure. Yes, one can argue they needed him, but one could also say that you went to a team that was basically complete, and they basically made life easy for you because let's face it, the KD have to work hard, in the entire year. The KD have to carry a team. The KD have to be the best player on the team every single night.
No, he just has to show up to work. Just have to show up to work.
Exactly. So you have a team that is so complete and so great that they inserted him to the team and made him feel like he's been there all along. So the fact that listen, a lot of times they deferred to him like, oh yeah, don't worry, listen, we'll make the game easy for you. You don't have to move. We'll move around. Just stand up. When we get you the ball, do what you do. So if you want to talk about, oh, they need him for sure, who needed who? Because prior to that, when he was with OKC, they had 3-1 lead against our Warriors team. And what happened? He couldn't close it out. So who needed who? So as far as his statement goes, is there some validity to it? Absolutely. But they didn't need him for absolutely. They did absolutely need him, like absolutely needed him. Is it certain? I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, well, so we can both agree with the first half of the statement. They didn't need him to beat Boston. Don't even know if he actually said that, but it sounds like something he would say. Right. I mean, KD just be talking sometimes, and then I was on Twitter once, and he was arguing with a bunch of dudes talking about he's not a leader. He's not because
he
it's
has
just
so much time on his hands.
You're up 3-1 against a team, and you collapse. And that's the sign of no leadership. You have you're playing. You're the favorites playing against the Boston team. You're the leader. You couldn't come up in times when you needed. You couldn't will your team to do things. It's the same thing we're talking about for Jason Tatum. Right?
One win.
Right. So it's hard to look at basketball today and say if he wasn't there. But if I think if we have that Kyrie team, right, because they were still there, they still had the same core members, and we have. I think they split those championships. Is my opinion. If they're both playing without KD, I think they split it. I think they win one, lose one, or they, I don't think they go back to back. Or even if you at least go game sevens, you don't beat them. You don't win in 5. You go game 7, because again, I think for Bron, there's a motivation of, we just beat you, right? If you don't get KD, there's a chance that Bron can. I mean, in both champ finals, Bron went off. He had almost averaged a triple-double in both of those finals that he lost, right? So I think there's a lot more pressure on your team to guard Bron and then guard Kyrie. Speaking of Kyrie, his stance with Brooklyn right now is just kind of shaky. They don't want to offer him. But I don't blame them. I wouldn't offer him all that money either. But let me not get carried away. But let me not get sidetracked. I honestly think, again, it's a statement that exists, and what we do on shows like this is talk about stuff like that, and we can debate the what ifs, and we could talk about can this happen or will this happen. Honestly, we can't really say, but if we just the eye test of people that watch and play basketball, there is a chance that they don't win both championships, and there's a chance that they do, but they have him now, and on record, he went to the team that smacked him out the playoffs when he was up 3-1, and he has to save face. So he will make a comment like that. I think it's an embarrassing comment to make because you're saving face as a Kevin Durant, which is a top player in the world. If we're gonna argue it, then I think you put a comment out there so we can argue it. But if you put a comment out there so we can argue it, you have a point. You have a slight point. Not the point about CP3 and the Rockets, not that point. But the LeBron point you do, because who knows what would have happened without you if they went back to Cleveland. Because again, if you go back to Cleveland, who was riding high on winning or on coming back from a 3-1 to win a championship, that's a dangerous team. It's a very dangerous team.
But you know what else though? Like while that Cleveland team is dangerous because again they just came from a high of winning or coming back from a 3-1, never been done before. But one can argue that makes the Warriors dangerous going forward because now
as well,
it makes them dangerous because now they're like, yo, listen, we blew it. We had like three
we had
chances.
them dead. Yeah,
we had them dead to rights. We had them like 3 games to win, 1 to close it out. We had 1 and we blew it. So now, that reminded me of like Spurs in 2013, Spurs and Heat 2013. They were ready to roll out the championship in Game 6 until Ray Allen hit that shot and took the air out of the building. That was the end of the series because Game 7, Spurs did not come to play. Game 7, Spurs did not
they just got run out.
Yeah, and so for them, at that point, it was just formality. Showing up to play, it was a formality. But then you watch the following year, they come back. They had Miami in a chokehold that entire series.
Correct.
I think they beat them 4-1, and it should have been 4-0. Like I think they just gave Miami a game just for the sake of it. But they came after the vengeance. So it's like, who knows what would have happened? Had you not hit KD. That's what we're talking about in terms of what ifs.
You can't make a solid argument because there's no evidence. We're just gonna make conjectures and what if and just keep guessing.
Exactly.
And the guessing game here is there's a chance that you're Cleveland and you're like, oh my God, we just did this. We just did the impossible. Let's go back and do it again. But then on the offshoot, you're looking at Golden State. We just did this. We just let them do the impossible. We got to stop that. So there's So who knows, man? But there's also a chance that Golden State doesn't make the playoff or doesn't make the finals because they are. You see, the thing is, there's 2 ways to play stuff like that. When you're the loser, you can be too tight, right? You can be too tight, and oh my God, we made a mistake so bad. We got to fix it. And then you come in and now it's like, oh shit, we messed up because we're playing too tight. We're trying to make sure we get to that point. It's too much if statements. It's too many if statements for us to actually call that. So to the last thing I'll say on that is I can't really say. I can't definitively say if he's right or wrong.
And that's the thing. I don't know if he's right or wrong. I don't know if either version of this was like, okay, but I just know that to say, well, they didn't need me for that, but they definitely needed me for this. It's like,
it's
again,
kind of embarrassing.
Yeah,
exactly. A player of that caliber, you just
also if you're
roll it off your shoulder.
You're pushing towards year 16 now. Next year's gonna be year 16 for him, dude. What are you doing? What are you trying to prove? What answering those questions like this is not question Draymond is answering. That's Draymond something stupid like that. Draymond's gonna be like, I don't have to answer this. And we're talking about Draymond, who we've agreed have been coasting for a few years now. Like
Correct.
So, but yet you're Kevin Durant. You feel the need to argue with every single person that says something to you on Twitter. You feel the need to to respond like, oh yeah, absolutely, like why? What are you trying to prove? At this point, if your resume doesn't speak for itself, we don't care what you have to say. At least for me, at least I don't. Because at this point, so I'm trying to figure out, what did you get by saying that? Like, what was the goal here? What were you trying to prove? Like, what was the argument here?
It's insane. It's insane. It's like I said, embarrassing because you don't gain anything. Matter of fact, you're gonna get the jokes.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the jokes.
Because now what's gonna happen is everybody's gonna pull out the resume. Everybody's gonna remind you. He's gonna bring out the fact that, hey, the same team that needed you smacked you the year prior when you had a 3-1 lead on them. The team that needed you have won after you. The team that there's so many things you could actually say about it to the point where it's like the more we analyze, on what he said in terms of the team needed him for that one, the more we could point out to the fact that his entire tenure with Golden State, Steph played more games and averaged more points than him.
Correct.
So, so if we talk about they needed you for that, the question is, did they really? And what proof do you have of that? Oh yeah, well, you won Finals MVP again. You playing on a team that basically that they did all the hard work and you reap the benefits from it.
Like that group project, and you have the guy who just shows up and oh, you know what? This is your strength. Your strength is talking in front of people.
Exactly.
You deliver the project, and he does a good job. Don't get me wrong, he does a good job, and he's looked at as the hero. But the whole time, bro, a lot of people were working on that project. So on the last time we spoke, right, the question was asked: Is Wardell a top 10 player? And I think we both said yes, right?
Yeah.
So today, I figured, why don't we drop our top 10 list? So it's like 3 Lakers on this list, right? No, 4 Lakers on this list, give or take.
Awesome. Actually 5, I think.
Right.
Yeah, because LeBron's currently a Laker.
Correct.
Yeah, so we got 5 Lakers on this list.
Right. So you wait. You started the last one, so I guess I can start this one then.
You can start this one.
My number one my number one is LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I saw Michael Jordan play later in his career when I don't remember a lot of Michael Jordan playing basketball.
Yeah.
But I've watched LeBron James play basketball, and I think everything that they've asked him to do, he has done, and I think he's done exceedingly more. So debate amongst yourselves. I don't care. This is my top 10 list, and y'all could call me out in the comments, and y'all could call me out wherever, but this is mine, right? Mm-hmm. LeBron James, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Stephen Curry, Bill Russell.
Okay. That's the top 10.
That's my top 10.
Okay. All right. Nothing against your list, but I'm just getting ready to get crucified for my list.
Oh, Lord.
And again, I know it's coming.
If he's not okay.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No. I'll wait till I hear it first. Oh Lord, I'm kind of nervous. Go ahead.
Okay, so in my top 10 list,
in order, because people love doing that. You know what people love doing? Oh, I'm not doing anything in order per se, and then like give an order, but then that's not the order.
I'm gonna give you an order, and that's why I'm ready to be crucified for it, because I know the order that I have. Most people are going to disagree with it, but if there's if nothing else, I'm always ready. For slander and for a fight. So
right.
Okay. So on my list, I have Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Oh Lord. Again,
debate amongst yourself. Fight who you want to fight. Say what you want.
Right.
I have Jordan at 1. I have LeBron at 2. I have Jordan at 1. I have LeBron at 2. Like, I mean, at this point, I don't even know how it's a debate. Like, you could pick one at one, and you could pick them at 1 and 2. I don't even see how you could even like debate like they're not 1 and 2. Like, whichever order you have them in, they should be 1 and 2, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So yes. I have them. I have Jordan at 1, LeBron at 2. I have Kobe at 3. Yes, I have Kobe at 3. I have
all right.
I have Kareem I have Kareem at no, not Kareem. I have Magic at 4. I have Kareem at 5. I have Shaq at 6. Bird at 7. Steph 8. Duncan 9.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, no. Duncan 8, Steph 9. That's what I meant. I knew somebody said Duncan 8, Steph 9. Duncan 8, Steph 9. And this is the one that's gonna get me, crucified.
Right.
I have Wilt at 10. Oh, in case you're wondering, I left Bill Russell out of the list. That's what I'm getting crucified. I'm gonna get crucified for.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna get cooked. You're gonna get cooked.
I am. I'm ready for the slander. I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for
Oh my God, you're gonna get cooked. I respect your list. I really do, and I can see why Bill Russell can be off the list. Right, he was my number 10, and it was hard for me. So I can see why, but I don't see why he's not. But then, okay.
I'm okay. You know what? Okay. Before y'all come for me and tell me why, or how can you not have Bill Russell there? He has 11 rings, because that is the only argument you will ever make for him. The 11 rings. I think how many as a coach and how many as a player? Like, those are the only arguments you'll ever make for him. Because I have gone back.
Steve Kerr got what, like 8?
9. 5 as a player and 4 as a coach.
Ooh, he's coming.
No, he's not, because Steve Kerr didn't get 5 rings as the top 3 or top 4 players on his team.
Oh man,
he got 5 rings. He got 5 rings. The same way that the woman was healed by touching Jesus' robe. He got 5 rings by holding onto Michael Jordan's robe.
As Draymond Green.
As Draymond Green, exactly. Okay.
I think that's why he knows how to coach Draymond, because like.
So I'm not even gonna mention that, but okay, the reason why I have Bill Russell off my list is because when we talk about the 60s, guys who played in the 60s and 50s and 60s,
they were playing plumbers and
we talk about the fact that they were playing plumbers and electricians, right? In the era of playing plumbers and electricians, the numbers say he was average. The numbers say he was average. He averaged, I think he averaged 13 and 18 for a career. 13 and 18 for a career. 13 being the points, 18 being the rebounds. He was a great rebounder. He was also 7 feet tall. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
In that same era that we talk about, Wilt averaged like 40, like 40 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking like pure numbers and what he's able to do, Wilt got him beat in every single statistical category except for rings. So if we're going to talk about, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of arguments against Wilt as well, because if you could play like that, I have arguments against, like if somebody would ask me, make an argument for Bill Russell over Wilt Chamberlain, I have an argument for that one. But for me, as I'm making this list, I have Wilt above him, because if I look at the fact that they played in a similar era, and the fact that Wilt was able to do more in terms of as a player, because Bill had a better team all the way through. Every single year he had a way better team the entire time. Wilt played with Chamberlain for no. I said Wilt played with Chamberlain. Wilt played with Jerry West. We played with Jerry West 4 years and got 2 rings out of it. I think I believe he got 2 rings, during that time. Or he won one time with him, and won one time against Willis Reed, I believe, in the Knicks. So like I said, Wilt got 2 rings in that era, while Bill Russell had 11. As part player, part coach. So there's arguments for Russell being the better guy here, but the argument will be the rings. Nothing else. There's no other argument. There's no other like stats that will prove to you that Bill Russell was better in any way than Wilt.
Okay, so when we argue for when people say why LeBron James isn't a better player than Jordan, they bring up the rings. That's really what they bring up, because if you bring up stats, LeBron is looking to have better stats than Jordan.
Yes, no. LeBron has the better stats in terms of than the pure numbers. Right. But then of course, you could always break down those numbers. But anyway, go ahead.
But you're making your argument right now for Wilt versus Bill because of stats.
Okay, so you're saying how
And
can I?
and
How
not
can I?
and no, because I'm gonna ask you. There's two questions I want to ask you. Is why Jordan won, or do oh, no, or rather, it's not why Jordan won. I know why. Do you have Jordan won because he has the rings, the hardware, right? And who's the greatest Laker since you have Kobe 3?
Who's the greatest Laker?
Who's
Kobe.
who's your
Kobe's the greatest Laker.
all right, man? But okay, so why Jordan won? We're not debating that, but why Jordan won?
Why Jordan won?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that, and that's from watching LeBron for a very long time, that the numbers are a little bit inflated.
So you're saying LeBron's numbers are just as inflated as Russell Westbrook having the numbers for the best triple doubles in the game, or the most triple doubles in the game, rather.
Okay. Listen, here's
See,
listen,
that's
hold on.
okay.
Here's why I'm making this case here, because here's why. Okay, when I said LeBron's numbers are a little bit inflated, I mean a little bit inflated. Russell Westbrook's triple double is highly inflated. There's a big difference between a
But
little
it's not
bit.
easy.
Hmm?
But having the most triple doubles in the league forever is not easy. It took what, about 40 years to get there? It's not
43.
easy.
I never
43,
said
bro.
it was. I'm not saying
Okay.
it's pedestrian or it's like it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is the fact that, okay, one argument I will make is the fact that once upon a time, right? Something I will say is the fact that once upon a time, guys will get triple double in the course of a game. We'll get triple double in the course of a game en route to like just playing the game. They'll just get a triple double because they just happen to do that. But nowadays, it seems like guys are hunting triple doubles. I know it feels like I've seen Russell Westbrook feels like he's hunting a triple double, some games. Granted, there's a number to tell you that when Russell Westbrook has a triple double, they win something around like 67 or 69% of the time. At one point, it was like 74%, which means 3 out of 4 times he gets a triple double, they win the game. There's numbers to tell you that when he gets a triple double, they do win. But what happened is like a lot of times when he gets a triple double, it's just that, a triple double, and it doesn't lead to winning. It doesn't lead to the team doing better. And if you look at even like the guys around him, like in terms of like how they played, like when like guys will like the ball will be up in the air, and here you got 7 foot tall Steven Adams start just standing still and watch Russell Westbrook grab a rebound.
Because you want to help your teammate get his numbers.
Great.
That's just it.
You want to help your teammate get a stat. But guess what? The way you would play before that, what would happen? The big man would grab the ball. The guard would be on his way out and launch it. All of a sudden, you want a fast break. But now you're waiting for him to grab the rebound and start the play. Now you go into a half court offense automatically because your guard's already back here. Team already came back because they missed. So again, is the numbers and so when I say LeBron's numbers are a little bit inflated, it's because
I want to hear this.
Okay, LeBron's numbers are a little bit inflated. Is because, for example, right, when Michael Jordan was was scoring whatever like when he was playing at the time he was playing, the league's average in terms of like scoring was around 97 like 97 points, like 97 points teams were scoring on average, as opposed to like for most of LeBron's career, league's average is something around 106. So we're talking just off the bat alone, we're talking a 10-point difference off like just like how much teams are scoring. Mm-hmm. So when I say inflated, I'm not saying that his numbers don't matter. I'm saying the numbers don't tell the full story. Because, for example, once upon a time, teams will shoot like an entire team will shoot like 15, 16 free throws in a game because of how the game was called. Now you have one guy shooting 22 free throws in a game. James Harden spent like 3 years averaging like 16, 15, like 14 free throws per game. Just one player. So when I say the numbers are inflated, I'm not saying that the numbers don't matter or that like the numbers go lying. I'm simply saying that when the league goes away from defensive minded to more offensive minded, to all the calls go to offensive players in order to make the game more exciting, to get more points and stuff like that. When the league goes towards that, then you see the difference in players' numbers. So when I say his numbers are a little bit inflated, please come crucify me because because you think I'm slandering LeBron. No, what I'm saying is the fact that the numbers, the numbers, like in terms of like the numbers as they go, the pure numbers go, it shows that because even it shows that the numbers. Sure, he has more points, more rebounds, stuff like that, but also the game is geared more towards all those things. The game is not geared towards guys stopping you. You're not getting you're not getting calls. You weren't getting some calls back then. You weren't getting a lot of those things. But yeah, if you see if you watch Jordan play, just whether it's like the eye test, whether you look at whether you look at the games that the games that he played, the games that he won, even the games that he lost, like you see the difference in them. And then for me, I have him at 1 because again, if you said don't mention the rings, cool. I won't mention the rings.
I'm not saying don't mention the rings. I'm just saying because you used your argument for why one player wasn't on because even though they had more hardware, and you use stats, and now you're saying
I'm saying the better player. I feel like if I'm looking at Russell and Chamberlain, I feel like the better player was Chamberlain.
So you think Jordan is a better player than LeBron?
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I can't argue with you on that. It's up. It's again, as you said, it could be 1A, 1B.
That's what I'm
saying. I think LeBron is a better player because he has more things in his game, in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jordan might be a better scorer, but LeBron is a better facilitator. LeBron is a better slasher. I don't care what you say. He's a better slasher. It might be because he's bigger, but LeBron is better at getting to the basket than Jeffrey Jordan.
But also, we could also say because LeBron played in an era where if he goes to the basket, it's all it's all like he automatically gets the benefit of the doubt. It's all on his side. If he goes to the basket, somebody swipes, somebody hit him.
LeBron doesn't get no. LeBron, and that's why that's why I knew that was coming. LeBron doesn't get all the calls that he should be getting for someone that cuts to the basket as much as he does. James Harden actually gets more calls than LeBron.
He does. No. James Harden get way too many calls. And speaking of calls, I feel like Steph Curry doesn't get enough. Steph doesn't get enough calls.
Steph gets a lot of calls.
Steph does not get enough calls, bro. Like
he gets a lot of calls.
He doesn't get enough calls. Steph doesn't get enough calls. Because if we talk about James Harden, and some of the calls James Harden get calls because he throws his hand out there trying to get a call. He gets a call for him, and that's why when he doesn't get one in the playoff, he complains, he whines, he cries because it's like, yo, how could you not give me that call? You give it to me all season, but in the playoff when they call the games a little bit tighter, they don't fall for those things anymore. Meanwhile, Steph on the other hand, he's good. Listen, he's going up. He's a smaller guy, and guys bump into him like I watched Tatum bump into him, or for 3. And he, I'm talking a straight up bump into him. He drops.
No, and I saw that. I think
he drops, and the ref look at him like, all right, get up, keep it moving. Like it's like
it's the NBA Finals.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's plenty of calls, especially in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they need to make every single call. I'm simply saying if we talk about some calls or guys get or don't get, it's sometimes and that's why they started changing the rules because they know guys will actually like actively abuse the rules. In order to get those calls. So because of that, so yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. So did I answer your 2 questions? Who's the greatest Laker? I think it's Kobe Bryant. I think Kobe Bryant is the greatest Laker.
I don't think Kobe's the greatest Laker. I don't think Kobe's the greatest. Like in Magic literally exists in this world, and you say Kobe's the greatest Laker?
Yes.
How can you look at the eye test and look at everything that Magic Johnson did, for 1, for basketball, for 2, for the Laker organization, and then say Kobe's the greatest Laker?
I'll tell you why. Magic played 13 years. All 13 years, he had a great team on his squad. All 13 years. He had a great squad the entire time he played there. Kobe played 20, and I will tell you 9 of them was with a great team. Or with a good to great team. 9 of them. The other 11, you can't even remember who was on the team. Complete trash. I'll give you some names. Robert Sacre. You know who that is? DJ Mubenga.
No, I know him, but
Adam
I
Morrison.
I know him, but I know what you're saying.
Like, so you see what I'm saying? So like Smush Parker, Chris Mim, like slap him, Medvinko. Like, I could start. I said right now, I could tell you, Jeffrey Johnson, and you'd be like, oh yeah, he was a bum too. Meanwhile, he never played with somebody with that name. But you know why? Because he played with so many guys that were completely forgettable and complete garbage that you don't even think about it. And so,
LeBron took Boobie Johnson to the fucking finals. I don't care what you're saying right now.
Guess what? I would make the same argument for LeBron too. Like, when it's all said and done, if you're talking about who's the greatest Cleveland of all time, who's the greatest?
It's not up for debate. That's not
exactly. So you see what I'm
I again looking at what Magic Johnson did for the Laker organization.
Mm-hmm. Five championships. Like three,
that makes him the greatest Laker in my opinion. Also, he didn't. So what Kobe did in his last 2 years is the reason why the Lakers sucked for a long time before LeBron came there. And I'm right about that.
Which is what?
The extension he took.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, you're worth all the money. Like you are Kobe Bryant. All that money could be rightfully.
So you're talking about the guy who took pay cuts to get to get certain guys on the team, but then at the end of his career, he decided, listen, I want to be paid.
Nah, so look at that. Those 2 years at the end of his career, right? Deciding he wanted to be paid. What did that do to the Lakers long term? He didn't care about the organization at the end of his career. No.
I'm sorry. Did they hand Kobe a blank contract and he filled it out?
Oh my God! Don't do that.
I'm sorry. Quick question for you, Mo. If your job call you tomorrow and say, listen, you know what? Because you've done such a great job for us over the course of the last 5 years you worked there. Listen, here's a blank check. Write a number on there, and we'll just sign it. Are you saying no to that?
I'm saying all the numbers. All the numbers. Just back up that Brinks truck. Shit. If that really did happen, I'm closing this laptop down, and I would be like, peace, Wesson. It's been nice knowing you. I'm going to an island.
So I'm supposed to hold against him the fact that he wanted to get paid for giving the organization from the time he was 18 years old. He gave the organization every single thing he had. Okay, you know something else though? If we were to talk about somebody who don't cheat the game, I will tell you, a guy like Kobe Bryant, that's a guy who never cheated the game. I'm talking the guy put in the work. The guy, listen. No matter what you might say about him, between the work ethic and the amount of time he put in, the guy will tell you, I don't need friends, I need championships. I don't need banners, I need to win. Like the guy would literally put it all on the line day and night. The guy will broke every single part that that he had. And again, so when that guy gets a bag for the last 2 years, or for the last 2 years of playing with a team, then guess what? Get your bag, get more. I'm not holding that against him. And also, the same Lakers squad that gave Kobe a bag, deservingly so, give Lua Deng a bag.
Okay. All right. Cool. And I can personally be like, I don't see him doing that and being an organization person because Kobe could have made that money. Again, I still think I'm on the player side. Don't get me wrong. I'm always on the player side. I just think I don't need a banner. I need wins. They could have won another championship inside of that 2 years because you would get players. You'd be able to get players. And then, I mean, did Kobe care about the long term of the Lakers? He probably had in his mind, I got 2 more years, and that's it for me. I'm pretty sure at that point he didn't care about the long term of that organization.
Okay, if we're going to talk about who don't care about organizations.
Okay, I know what you're gonna do.
Okay, go ahead. Cool. Okay. Because we're not gonna sit and slander the late great Kobe Bryant, about getting a bag, about can I care about organization when there's a guy there's a guy somewhere out there in the Midwest who will sit there sign 1 year at a time, to get all the to get as much money as possible before he just like I'm out. So or a team or who go to a team and say, you know what, yeah, all these young guys there, gut them out. This is what I need. Like, so again, no slander here, but I'm saying. We can't slander a guy for getting his bag, because it's like, oh yeah, he don't care about the organization. If we're going to talk about somebody who care about the organization, I would say that guy is pretty, like, all about organization when he take pay cuts in order, to get the right, some guys on his team. But the same organization stuck him with with Chris, Smush Parker and Chris Mim for like 3 years. So
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
For 3 years, okay. At least one guy once took Booby. You know what? Moving on. Moving on. So let's talk about what Mo was wrong about. Mo was wrong about Tampa Bay Lightning taking the Stanley Cup in, was it 5 games? Because they were
5
going to win
games,
games.
yes.
Yeah, they were going to win game 2, and then they were going to win everything out of there, right? So which they did, right? They did not win game 2.
Not only did they not win, they got
Okay.
smacked in game 2, like the worst loss they've had. Like I think that was the worst loss of the season.
Of the season for them, yes. 7-0.
7-0. Yeah.
My argument for why they would win was I think they have the better goalie.
They have the better
They have more
goalie and more
firepower.
firepower.
They did not score a point. And again, in the first game, they came out and they got punched in their mouth. But game 3, they went home. You're home now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do at home? You respond powerfully.
Accordingly.
6-2. This is what I was hoping Tampa Bay was going to do. Take the hit of the first game, come back game 2. Didn't happen. But because you're going to come home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be at home, your crowd is going to fire you up, and you're going to do great at home, which I feel like they do. They do great at home, as you can see what happened in game 3.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think I still have them winning the Stanley Cup. And I don't see how they lose any more games here moving forward. Now, does that change your mind? Do you think they win any more games? Or do you think they're done? Because the Avalanche have shown that they can hang, and they can hang big time.
I think winning game 3 wasn't even up for debate. At this point, you don't have an option. You have to win game 3.
Correct.
Because that team has proven to you that not only are they not scared of you, they fully believe they can beat you and beat you convincingly, and they've proven it on 2 different occasions.
Yeah.
Game 1, when they went up early, but you came back and give them a fight, and they went to overtime, and in overtime they beat you. Game 2, when they came out and they even give you a chance, and just smash you right out of the arena. So game 3, you had to win that. There's no question about it. You had to win game 3, and they did. But now that puts a lot more pressure on them, because now they have to be concerned about it. Because guess what? From this point on, if they go home and win, they're already home. If they win game 4, that still keeps the pressure on them, because now they have to know that they have to go back to Colorado. They cannot lose then. Because if they lose,
which has not been good. Yeah, it's not been a good
because
travel.
Colorado has not been kind to you, so far. So you have to. So now you have to think if you win game 4 at home, the series is tied. You still can't take your foot off the pedal. You still can't breathe, because now you have to go back to Colorado and prove you could win there. Because if you lose game 5 in Colorado and you come back to Tampa Bay and you win, even if you win game 6, you have to know now you have to go back there again and win another game on the road after you've lost the first 3 on the road. So it's so now I feel like all the pressure is on the Lightning. So do I think they're going to win the series? No. I don't think they're going to win the series. I don't think they're going to win the series. I picked them to lose the series early. I picked them to lose in 7 games. But now I'm watching from watching the first 3 games, I'm thinking this ends in 6 games.
Okay. I think you're wrong. I think you're very wrong. I think you are very wrong. I think Tampa Bay Lightning has taken the best of what Colorado can afford. I think the first 2 games, especially that second game, is the best Colorado will ever be in the rest of the Stanley Cup Finals. Mark that. Literally, mark it.
But do they have to be better, though?
Yes, because the Lightning have taken your best. Hear me out. The Lightning have taken your best. They haven't even shown their best. But guess what? In game 3, 6-2, handedly defeated you. I don't think we've seen the Lightning's best in the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think we've seen the Lightning that demolished New York in the Stanley Cup Finals.
But would they beat New York in 7 games?
No, there was one more game to have.
Oh, so they beat New York in 6 games?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think Tampa Bay has taken the best, and I think Tampa Bay sees that. And now Tampa Bay wins tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The pressure, honestly, you think the pressure is on the light on the Lightning? I think the pressure is on the Avalanche because now you have to. Okay, we just lost two. Like we're up 2-1. No, we're up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
We should have been up 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't do that. We should have been, okay, we could have been 3. We could have been up 3-1 because if they lose tomorrow, that means they could have been up 3-1, but they weren't. So now it's a tie game. Going back, I think that's that's who the pressure is on. And again, now you're gonna be like, okay, we could have knocked them out, but now we're gonna be playing the Stanley Cup. This is the Stanley Cup back-to-back Stanley Cup final winners, and that's when you're gonna see them. I think that they turn the pressure back up on Colorado.
The reason why I disagree with that is because you're saying that Avalanche have not seen the Lightning's best yet, right?
No, no.
And my thing for that is that even if they haven't been their best in the first 3 games, if you're Avalanche, you're thinking, you know what? If like we're talking about, if game 3 is the best that they had to, is their best so far, and we lost that
Mhm.
game, cool. Or like if they have another level, the thing is that they have to prove they could do it in Colorado. That's the thing now, because
That's
the
fair.
problem is the first 2 games in Colorado, you got beat. So and they've proven that even when you do make a comeback, even when you do like play really well, like they did in game 1, we can win. And when you don't show up, we will definitely like blow you out of the water like they did in game 2. So I think
Mhm.
now it's like now you're looking at it like you say, do we have to be our absolute best? Do we have to be flawless like they were in game 2 in order to win? I don't know if they have to be. I think they have to basically like if they can like produce another version of game 2 or a combination of a game 1 and 2, if they could produce a similar version to that, where even if Lightning come back and fight back like they did in game 1, if Avalanche have one more of those games in them, I think they could win. They could win those series. If they could have if they have one more of that game 1 in them, where even after Lightning came back and fought back and took them to overtime, and they still pull out the win. If they can have one more of those, I think Avalanche pull out the series. So as far as does the Lightning have to be like Lightning haven't shown their best yet? I feel like you're taking a while to show your best because you're down 2 games to 1. You have game 4 now. That is also a must win because if you lose game 4, the series ends for you back in Colorado. If you lose
Correct.
game 4, the series is over in Colorado. As soon as you get there, you must up, listen, unpack, go to the arena, hand them the trophy and walk back out because that series will be done. So you better hope that you don't lose game 4. So now, when I say the pressure is on them, is because like now, if they go back, if they, being at home in game 4, and after Avalanche seeing what you had in game 3, and you came back, you came out, you win. It wasn't a flawless victory because 6-2. It's like it wasn't a flawless victory. Like game 2, that was a flawless victory. Okay,
Okay.
so it's like so Avalanche have shown that we can hang with these guys. So now, the mystique behind them, the idea, that pedestal that they were on, that every team was afraid of. Man, they're back-to-back champion. They don't have that. Avalanche is not afraid of you anymore. They beat you 2 games. One of them was very convincingly. The other one was a very hard fought one which you came back and they won it. So now they're not scared of you. So if they come out now in game 4, I think game 4 pressure is on Lightning. Game 5
No.
pressure is on Lightning because you have to prove you can win in Colorado. You have to win in Colorado because if you don't, then of course you just exchanging wins. You lose game 7. So
Okay.
game
Okay.
4. So question is, can the Lightning come back? They can, but they won't. They're losing the series.
They're not losing the series, and I'm telling you, mark it. You have seen the best the Avalanche can throw at them, right? 6-7 flawless victory. You've seen that,
Stop
but
putting in
then
quotation. Flawless. It is a flawless victory. Lightning didn't score. Avalanche score 7. That's a flawless victory.
right,
So
but
don't put in
your
quotes.
but okay, so yes, that's true, but you needed to do that again in Tampa Bay, and you couldn't. You didn't. You needed to, because again, you don't want to give. No. I hear you. You don't want to give a team that has tasted the fruit, the forbidden fruit twice.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give them any kind of life. You wanted to come in and keep punching them in the mouth, because that was your key to victory, was to punch them in the mouth and keep punching them in the mouth and punch them while they're down 7-0. Guess what? You couldn't continue that. You couldn't keep your momentum going. You've lost it. You're gonna lose the game. If they lose this game on, I think it's tomorrow, right? If they lose this game tomorrow, that's it. They've lost all their momentum. Now the team with the momentum, the hot team, is the Lightning, and they're gonna carry that momentum into Colorado. Yes, and they're going to dump them off at home. And when they do,
hasn't proven that they could beat.
When they do, okay,
they haven't proven that they could beat the Avalanche at home. They haven't proven that. So for me, I'm not gonna go as far as saying, Lightning's gonna lose in 5 games. Even though my counterpart already said that Avalanche is gonna lose from this point on. Like, again, I'm not so arrogant to say such a thing.
Okay.
But I will say though, this series ends, and I picked them to win the series in 7 games. I'm gonna stick with that. But Lightning better not give up game 4. They better not give up game 4. They better fight. Like, listen, they better fight better than Marcus Smart did. Like, they better,
Look, I respect that, but I think we're gonna look at we're gonna be looking at a different series.
So you think Lightning wins from here on out?
What are you doing, man?
I'm asking a question, bro. I'm asking a question because you picked them to win from that one on after 1 game. So
okay, you know what?
With 3 games in, are you picking them to win from here on out?
I got them in 7.
You got them in 7.
I'm gonna take them in 7. Yes.
So okay, so you got Avalanche game 4. No, so you got Lightning game 4, Avalanche game 5. Lightning
No. I got. Hear me out. I got Lightning. You know what? I got them winning in 6. I'll do it. No, I'll take it in 6 because they win at home. They take it there. They beat them and they bring it back home and win it and close it out. Watch, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. And we're gonna be back here probably Friday having this conversation.
Aren't you tired of being wrong?
I'm not wrong.
Aren't you tired of being wrong?
I'm not wrong on this, bro. I promise. I'm not wrong on this.
Okay. All right. So I'll buy it.
I can feel it, bro. I can feel it.
See, you see, I was listening to you say you feel it, and that's the thing with feelings. They're misleading. They lied to you. When life is good, you just got 6-2 victory. You're like, oh yeah, life is good. I can feel this. Like, I got this. I'm back in the game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, game 4 come out. All of a sudden, game 4 come out. You get hit with a hockey stick. All of a sudden, it's like, damn, this is really not going away. And just like that, there goes that feeling.
That's what you think. It's not. No, we've been here before, and we can do it. It's nothing new. It's new for Colorado. It's not new for me. It's not new.
That's the problem. Because it's not new for you. You got comfortable, and you thought you could walk into Colorado and just and blow them out of the water. Like, it's no big deal. Like, I've been here before. When the problem is that team has proven that they're more. They're very capable of not only punching you in the mouth, of taking a hit and then and come right back. Yeah, I mean, game one after they went up 3-1, I thought the game was over early, but then Lightning came back and said, no, we're still champion. Like, we're gonna show you what we could do. Right. And sure enough, they came to overtime, and Avalanche closed it out in overtime. And then they said, we can't let this happen again. So they came out in game 2 and they didn't even give you a chance. Put you in a chokehold right away.
Mm-hmm.
Full Nelson. Like, so here comes game 3. You come out, you do what you were supposed to, because again, at this point, this is do or die for you. You did what you were supposed to, and you won. Fair, rightfully so. But now,
you reminded yourselves,
you got to win game 4.
No, and you reminded yourselves who you were, and that's why you're not losing going out. That's all I'm saying.
So they win from here on out. They win game 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, sir. Colorado should have killed him. You should have killed him when you had a chance.
The good thing is you've been wrong before, so you're used to it. You'll be,
And that is how the show ends. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you on the next episode of Earth2 Sports Talk with Weds&Moe.
Peace.
Oh man, this guy.
Play ball.
There you go. There it is.
There's a winner.
Back.
Look at that.
Back. Gone. We have a chance.
Showdown.
Yankees 12, Red Sox 11.
He's gone. He couldn't go all the way.
Muy arquero. ¿Quién le pega? ¡Golazo!
Well, there's a long ball through, and
Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Incredible Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Fed on through, and here's Rust. Rust delays to Kobe. Walton can tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you gotta get a shot here.
Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Bang!
So go ahead. Do your little intro.